time. I nak pergi solat maghrib. Alamak, part
Okay,
in.
okay.
I don't see you, bro.
Bro.
I don't see your video.
Hi.
Okay, then you'll see this, okay?
Okay. Hello everyone, welcome. Assalamualaikum everyone.
Hello.
We are doing a career talk with Farizshah Gaskin, a programmer. Is it Farizshah? Is it
Faris.
Faris?
Uncle Faris.
Where's everyone gonna come in? Okay. This is awkward. What is it like being a programmer?
Well, it's mostly fun. You get to meet new people.
Everyone.
Hello.
We are doing a
What?
career talk with Farizshah
Is it
Gaskin.
echo? Why is it echo?
Farizshah.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's a
Echo.
feedback.
Why is it echo?
It's echo.
Why is it?
Right. Okay.
All right. Hello.
So we like that.
So being a programmer is fun entirely.
Yep.
Does it get
Most of the time.
especially difficult sometimes?
Only when you are chasing deadlines. So normally you wake up early in the morning and check your emails, see if there's a new job coming in, and after you're done with your breakfast and your coffee, you get to start with your work day. And working on my own, I'm basically the CEO, the Chief Everything Officer. So I'm the programmer, I'm the marketer, I'm the sales, I'm the boss. I give work to myself and I scold myself. So
Nice. Super nice.
yeah. And the good thing about being a programmer is that you're always on the edge
alert.
of technology and information. So you get to digest all the new
Technology
news,
and
new input. So you get kind of a bit of a head start compared to everybody else. So you get to know that Bitcoin is coming up and SpaceX is coming up, and you have all this Musso black paint and everything, electronic paint. So you can actually prepare yourself and bring all those new technology to Malaysia. Everything is done digitally.
Why do you want like, where do you get your information? Off the news? Oh wait, there's a question here.
Mm-hmm.
How do we add this question?
Oh, there's a question. Okay.
Hi Faris, how? The question. Hi
Uh-huh.
Faris, how and when did you know that you wanted to be a software developer? Did you have a mentor?
Okay. Back in school after SPM, I didn't really have a dream. So my idea of a career was to become a barber.
A barber,
Cut hair.
the one that cut hair. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And one day there's a career fair in my school, and I actually met one of the lecturers from some private college in my class.
Electress, right?
A lecturer, yeah.
Works with electricity?
Yeah? Not electricity, a lecturer.
Lecture. Oh, okay.
Pensyarah.
Okay.
So the person asked me, if I were to go to university, what course would I like to take? And I said, I might want to take aero engineering. And he said, no, there's no future in there for me. It's best if I go with being a programmer. So I didn't think much afterwards. So I just took a form and I start to sign up to learn computer science back then. And that's how I start.
So you use, so if you like, would you rather be a programmer or a aero engineer? Which one would you have picked if you could
Come
choose?
to think of the world today, it was a good call. Being a programmer really have its perks, and you can basically go anywhere, especially after MCO, after PKP, after COVID, because everybody is now indoors and only method of communication is online. So being a programmer really is a good decision.
What is like the most difficult being a programmer?
Well, the hard part is that sometimes the client, they want a certain solution in their software. For example, I'm supposed to develop a mobile app, and they want the app to have Google Maps and Skype and Waze and everything except kitchen sink. So you have to actually learn to combine all those codes and put it inside one app, but you have to also make sure that the app is exciting enough for people to download and use it.
So, like, what is the most easiest part?
The easiest part is, well, I think easy comes after years of practice. So you have all your codes in the back of the palm of your hands, and when somebody asks you to build a simple project, you don't really take like a week or a month to complete it. You only need like a few hours and you're done.
What is the language you mostly use? Like, what programming language, and which one you prefer?
Okay. I've been a web developer for 10 years, and afterwards I did mobile applications for another 10, and now the world is going back to web. So my preferred language would be PHP and HTML.
So basically web making tools.
Yep.
But
And it's also converted into progressive web, where the website is now a mobile app.
What is your favorite programming language?
My favorite language would be most definitely PHP.
Which one is the easiest and hardest in your opinion?
Well, the easiest would be HTML.
Mm-hmm.
You can master the whole thing in like a few hours. And the hardest, I think it would be Objective-C for me. I mean, it's the hardest.
Alright,
Are there any special skills you need to be a software developer? For instance, being good in math or physics, etc.
That's a question from the chat.
Okay. You need to be good at problem solving. So if you're good at puzzles, maze, jigsaw, then you can become a good programmer.
Yeah.
What is the most highest, what is the biggest person you've had to work for? Like the biggest company or person you've worked for?
The biggest company would be BHP, British Petrol, and the biggest person would be John Mulligan.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you work, what is your main, what time is your work time, from what time to what time, from morning to what time?
Okay, work days would be 9 to 5, but my preferred working time would be 9 p.m. until 2 a.m.
So basically all-nighter.
Yeah, because at that time you don't get a lot of noises from the environment, so it's really quiet for you to work.
Oh, so you would stay up all night just so you don't get yelled at the entire day?
Well, during the day you have like all these motorcycles and noise and everything. Yep.
Yeah, but most of the time in Malaysia, it mostly just yells out all night. It doesn't stop.
At our place, sometimes we can hear like random yells from
Okay.
somewhere.
Yes, it's funny.
I want to ask, if you had like one of those headphones that can like cancel out all the noise, would you work in the daytime?
I had one,
Uh-huh.
but I'm not really keen at wearing the headphones on my ears. So I just love having my head free. So I put on my speakers, or sometimes I use the cordless earbuds.
Oh, what computer
What computer do you use?
like, is it Windows, Mac? Which one?
Okay, I'm currently using a Mac. So I bought it in 2013. So it's now like 8 years.
Would you change to Windows if you had a chance?
I used Windows before, since like 93. So I'm using a Mac afterwards. Good thing about Mac is that I don't really need to shut down my laptop a lot. I'm like restarting my Mac once a month, and that's it.
You have like a lot of like is it normal to have a lot of files as a programmer, like a lot of files?
Files as in
Okay, Mom.
digital
Okay,
files
okay.
or in your cabinet?
How can you parent?
How can a
How
parent,
can a parent encourage a child to start programming?
like, we know there's Khan Academy and stuff, but like any other,
I did JavaScript and then I stopped.
Okay.
how?
Uh, Well, I guess the best way is for you to do the things that you love. For example, I tried to teach my daughter how to do programming, and she hated it.
Yeah.
And
It's
afterwards,
not for everyone. Programming is not for everyone.
I installed the there's a certain musical instrument. I think it's called a touchpad. So I installed a touchpad inside an iPad. So she was able to create her own music that way, and that's how she started to love to develop her own software.
Interesting. Very good.
Mhm.
Very good.
What
Sounds
is
like so suspicious.
the thing that you don't like about programming? Like, what do you don't like?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well, the hardest part of being a programmer is when you meet a client and the client says, "Can you add a button into this page?" It's just a button. It's easy. So that's
Not easy. Not easy.
I can't explain to them how hard it is to add a button.
Very not easy.
that like a bunch. That's really like.
Can
Is
you-
it in an app or is it in a like web, like a tab in Chrome?
Yeah.
Is it like
Well,
a
if it's
website?
a web, it's fine, but if it's a mobile app, then adding a button is like a mountain of task.
So all those games with a bunch of buttons is like stressful to make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
All
hard.
the inputs. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I've tried. I've done a bit of Unity programming. So me
Mhm.
and my sister have done a bit of Unity programming. So we know how
Programming's not
there's a
my
bunch
thing.
of things. There's a bunch of things that you need to know in order to at least just code like a simple button just to go right or left. So it's so stressful.
My turn. Do you have any funny stories you would like to share?
Um,
Imagine like sitting like.
funny, well, there's a lot of funny stories.
Tell me the funniest in your opinion.
It might be scary or it might be funny,
Okay.
depending on your
Okay.
perspective.
Go.
So I did work on a project in HUKM back in 2010. So it was a Sunday. I was working alone in the server room. So the server room was located next to the blood bank and to the morgue, the place where they kept dead bodies.
Oh yeah.
So while I was working, there's this, I think it's a doctor, because I was too engrossed in my work. I was looking at the monitor. I wasn't looking up. So I think I saw this doctor coming to me, and the person stood behind me,
To the right, baby.
and I think the doctor was looking at what I was doing, and the doctor went out. So after the doctor went out of the server room, I tried to catch up to the doctor because I want to ask if someone is on duty at the time, because I want to go for a lunch. And at the door, I realized that the door was locked from the inside. So how did the doctor got in?
Maybe he locked it after he came in.
No,
Like-
the lock was with me. The key was with me.
Maybe
He picked the lock?
jumped into the window.
He picked the lock probably actually.
And then he locked it.
Well, it's not actually a person. There was no person.
So
The blue screen of death is shining in my eyes. Okay, so anyway.
the question: what would you
Yeah.
consider to be your best work in programming journey? Any website or app that you're especially proud of? Like the best part of it, like
I have a few. One of my favorite was the wellhead management system. The app was managing wellheads in Iraq. They have like 900 oil fields over there, and the system was developed to manage the wellhead, the oil production from each well into the main oil, I think oil refinery or something.
the
So
one from
that's
from
one.
the ocean, right? The oil that's pumped from the ocean and fossils, right? Or is it palm oil? Which oil? Sunflower oil?
Petroleum.
Oh, that's terrifying. Okay,
Mhm.
continue. You can continue. You can continue if you want.
Okay. Okay, just now you mentioned Unity programming. So I happen to be teaching Unity at Asmara right now. Academy Seni Kebudayaan Warisan something. So I'm teaching Unity over there, and I'm teaching my students how to develop augmented reality mobile apps.
Hi, Anthony.
So it's a lot of fun, yeah.
So,
Okay, sure.
what is like what is your like least favorite time of day to work in?
Sorry.
Least favorite time.
Like in the morning or like.
Yeah, I think it would be in the morning because I have a lot of stuff to take care of in the morning. So if I have to work in the morning, then I need to really wake up super early, finish my daily chores before 9, and then maybe start my work at 9.
Have you ever like deleted something really valuable and then spend hours, like you spend hours on something and you accidentally delete it and then you have to take hours again just to type it back in, or no?
Oh yes. Just recently, I developed a mobile app for mobile therapy. So using that app, you can call therapists to your home, and the therapist would do like facial massage, makeup, and after I handed over the project to the client, the client requested that I deleted the codes from my laptop, in which I did, and only after the files were gone did the client ask, "Did you have a backup? Because I don't."
Oh no.
And I said, "Well, you just asked me to delete my copy,
Oh no.
so I'm sorry."
So you had to type it all back in. Was it like how many lines of code was there? Like how much?
Well, a few thousand files.
Oh my god.
Wait, how big is each file? Like how many lines of code is each file?
It'd be around 700 to 2,000 lines of code.
Ouch. And that took you around like what, a week to make?
No, 6 months.
Oh no.
That hurts.
That hurts so bad.
Yeah.
So what is like how you like to work? Like what kind of like do you like what when you make a game? What kind of things you work on first and then work on later? Which one? If you work on Unity, which one do you start first?
Okay, so when developing a game, first you need to visualize the end product. What kind of game would it be? How it look like? And draw it on a piece of paper or maybe on a whiteboard. And afterwards, you start to do the
foundation of it.
I think the foundation, the ground, and only after you're done with the environment, then you have your assets, your players, your obstacles, and finally the points and the maybe the menu. So those would be the last parts.
What games have you programmed?
What famous games have you programmed?
Well, it might not be that famous, but a few years ago, I created, I think, 2 or 3 games in collaboration with Persatuan Animasi. So the game was called Zibiru. I think your dad knew that game. So it's a simple game for, I think, for preschoolers. It teaches them the sounds of animals.
That's nice.
Interesting, very interesting.
But like, what is like the longest have you spent like what's the longest project you've worked on by far?
Yes, what's
Well, the longest would be the patient revenue system for a few hospitals in Johor. That was back in 2011, if I'm not mistaken. So I had to create a few systems for 9 hospitals back then. So it took quite a lot of time, I think more than half a year.
So like how many lines of code do you type per day? Like give us like a rough number, please. Oh, wait, there's a question here. What do you do for fun when you're not programming?
The what?
What do you do?
What do you do for fun when you're not programming?
What do I do for fun? I cook.
What do you cook?
A lot.
A lot of food.
Well, for starters, during Raya, I would bake pineapple cake and Swiss rolls. And on weekends, I would do like pizza or maybe steak, spaghetti.
Wowie.
Mhm.
What is like your favorite part of coding? Like, is it uploading the code and seeing it works, or you like it how it
Mhm.
just how it runs effortlessly? Which one do you like? Like, what type of it? Your favorite part?
Right. The favorite moment is when the app runs perfectly
No problems.
after a long battle with testing and debugging. So development would be 1/3 of the development time. The programming is just like 1/3, and testing would be 2/3 of it. So the best part is when everything runs smoothly and you actually see numbers going into your bank account. So that's the best part.
What is like your favorite type of game to program? But the tower defense, is it tower defense? Is it like 1v1 like PvP scenarios, or what is your favorite type of game to program?
Um, Through my experience, the easiest would be space shooters.
Like aliens from like aliens, the old
Something like
old shooter one.
Raiden or like
Oh yeah,
platformer to
Invader,
be
Invader.
space shooter.
So like Invader basically.
Ah, yes. Mhm.
What was your favorite game growing up? Like your favorite like game at an arcade? Like your like type of it. Like what is it? Have you been to many arcades?
I think it would be RPG role-playing game.
I have not played many of those actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Wait, does Diablo count as RPG?
Yeah, it's an RPG.
Oh yeah, we played Diablo.
I quite
So-
like JRPG games. Those are very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So like your daughter doesn't like programming much. Is that correct?
Yeah, back then, before she started discovering app for music, so she's now combining her music skills with her IT skills, and I'm encouraging her to write her own music. So if you watched on YouTube recently, there's this guy called Kifness. So he took the sound of a angry cat and he turned it into a song. So you should try and watch it soon.
So say he took the sounds of his angry cat, made it into
Mhm.
a song.
But it's like oh do like that.
I think it's called a Look Look Cat.
Yes, it's probably that sound.
So
Like
like
woo-doo-doo-doo.
what is the so you like to make games? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So like do you make games that are on the App Store? Is it on the Play Store, the Google Play Store, or what?
Well, for me personally, I didn't actually upload games over there. I teach my students how to create their own games and have them upload their games onto the Play Store.
How long?
So I did program back in 2015. So I traveled all over Malaysia, from Perlis until Sabah.
Wow.
So I went to primary and secondary schools, teach them how to create games, and I teach them how to upload games to Google Play Store.
We've made a couple games in the past as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you been ever on the news before, like programmer or what? Have you been on the news before? Newspapers or
I think a couple of times, yes. And then in 2018, I have my own newspaper column in Utusan. It's called Genius Corner. So the column ran for 2 years before PKP, and then everything had to stop.
So, like, how long have you been programming? From like what age? From what age?
Officially, when I was 18,
So very young to start making.
after school.
Would you recommend Would you recommend being a software developer for other people?
Yes, most definitely, yes.
Does it like give you enough money, or does it like still need to do other things in order to earn enough money?
Well, for me, it's a career, so that's how I make my living. But for non-developers, for example, if you're a doctor, so having programming skills would really help in your profession, where you can actually like create your own app and assist you while diagnosing your patient or maybe while doing operation on the patient. So you have like um, an app to help you manage, I know, maybe stuff during your job.
Mm-hmm.
What other job would you choose if you could choose any? Like other jobs, you already know this. Like you already like, what job would you learn if like you already know all the skills for the job? What would you choose?
Besides being a programmer,
Yeah. Besides being a programmer, like you already know the skills.
uh, well, for me, I would rather open my own restaurant.
Oh, yes, I would definitely eat there.
Hmm?
Chef Faris. Ah yes, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Like what food would you cook there? If you, what food would you cook there? Western maybe, or that's Malaysian food entirely.
Well, I would do healthy meals.
Interesting.
Aw, so you won't
So
cook
when-
fries. Aw, I'm kidding.
Maybe he'll cook like veggie fries or something like that.
Hey,
Hmm?
so
Mine no.
any other like other job would you like when you just graduated from your university or college? Did you like
Mm.
have an idea like what job were you going for, like like working in a hospital?
Well, when I graduated, there was a lot of computer science degree holders out there. So I was not in the position to make any request. So I had to take any available job. So at the time, I became a technician. So I was stationed in Mersing for a couple of weeks before I got a job as a programmer back in KL. So I had to travel a lot from Mersing to Johor Bahru. It's a daily commute because I'm managing some computer labs in schools in Velda around that part.
What was your favorite subject in school? Science.
My
math?
favorite subject would be English.
English.
Ah yes, not a math person exactly. What was your least favorite subject though?
It would be PJ, just money,
Ah yes,
because
physical
there's not
education.
much stuff to be done.
Pointless education. Do you have to go to meetings on a regular basis or like online? Like on a regular basis, what kind of, do you need to go to meetings or no?
Well, if I'm doing development jobs, it would be at the client's discretion. So if they require me to attend a meeting once a week or twice a week, then that's how I attend my meetings. So I had a client who requested that I go to Seremban like 3 to 4 times a week for meetings. So yeah, I have to go there.
Do you normally prefer riding plane or do you prefer riding your car?
I would definitely drive.
So it doesn't hurt your head.
Hmm?
It doesn't hurt your
Well,
ears.
because
when
the flight is too short, so
expensive.
there's not much scenery to see. You don't
like
have a lot of adventure. You don't stop and buy like nira or keropok lekor, so you don't
on the
have
way,
all
just
those
eat a
fun
McDonald's.
activities.
Just buy
hungry.
a McDonald's on the way there. Ah yes. Have you ever been to a hackathon? I haven't actually been to many, but my dad has.
I thought we've been like last time before MC. He used to go like every day.
Hello, Uncle Hafiz. Wait, that's two Hafiz. There's a person in the chat. His name is Hafiz Yusuf. My dad's friend, and then same name. Oh no.
What do you mean Hafiz Faris?
Oh, I knew that. I knew that. Like, do you like hackathons?
Yes, I do.
So,
Do you go to them?
do you oftenly go?
I've been to a few,
Often, yes.
starting in 2013 until 2016 or 17.
When you start going?
So in the beginning, the hackathon was more IT based, but after 2015, it's more like
Then you can sit on that chair.
business related, digital marketing related.
So, what is the, like, would you rather work in an office or work at home? If you could choose.
I would prefer to work in an office because when you're at home,
The deal with
the bed would be calling.
the entire, like, what is your favorite time of day?
My favorite time of day would be lunchtime.
Normally I would expect like bedtime because that's when everyone can just take a nap and just don't worry about any work. But do you enjoy your work? Do you enjoy your work?
Yes.
Like, so you started when you were 18 years old.
Mhm.
So when you had your so you started when you were 18 years old when you started programming. What other jobs would you have chosen if you could choose any?
Well, if I had to choose differently, there would be two choices. One is to open up my own restaurant, and the other would be to teach.
So you would want to be a teacher of what subject?
I would rather be a lecturer.
So you would talk. So like, what is the most fun part? Like other than uploading the code, but like, what is your other fun part about doing programming?
Well, the fun part is sharing.
So you like to share your knowledge of programming, so other people can also have fun too.
Yep.
Other than the programming language, if you could choose another programming language, which one would you choose as your second favorite?
My second favorite, that would be Java.
So
Although Java is the hardest for me, but
still enjoy
Java
it.
is also the most fun.
Yes, me too. Don't
Other than normal programming language you use, would you try out different language specifically to challenge yourself or no?
Yes, because as time goes by, the programming method that we use are changing. So, for example, currently you have the Flutter framework. It uses Dart programming language, and the Dart is using a nested programming method, and it's now gaining popularity. You're using the same programming method with React and a few other programming frameworks today. So I can see that if you don't follow the trend, maybe like 5 or 10 years afterwards, you would be like so way behind compared to your
Friends and
colleagues.
There's a question in the chat saying, "Is it expensive to study programming?" Also, it's I can sort of answer this question. You can learn it on Khan Academy. There are like 3, I believe, programming language you can learn on Khan Academy. One is JavaScript. The second one is CSS. Wait, the CSS and HTML is that the same language or different?
Yeah, all 3 are different languages,
So you
but you need to know all 3 for web development.
You can use all 3. There are all 3 on Khan Academy if you know what Khan Academy is. But what is your answer though? Is it expensive to learn?
Is it expensive?
Yeah.
Well, depending on your goals, if you're going to be a web developer, then it won't be as expensive. But if you're going to be a game developer, so you really need to know your console. Are you going to develop for a computer, for PC? Or is it going to be for PlayStation? Is it going to be for Android? So the most expensive would be for Xbox. Sorry, for PlayStation, Xbox number 2.
So have you ever made a PS4 game or Xbox game before?
Haven't done any, but I did a lot for Android.
What is your favorite? What app would you want to make if you could choose one? What kind of app would you want to make? Since you have the ability to do one.
Well, if I have the time, I would like to start with a mega dictionary app where you have a word that you want to know, and the answers would be displayed in multiple languages. So, like you type chicken,
Oh.
and you have different answers from different languages.
So you can you can type in like how to press a button in CHS in like how to do something, and then it will tell you in its programming language how to do it, right?
Yeah.
It also show like an explanation, right? How it works.
Yep.
My dad's asking, can a software developer not go to college or university and jump straight into the working world?
They could, but it's not
Advised.
advised because a lot of companies are still looking for your qualification. So
So you need-
regardless how good you are, if you don't have your papers, they won't take you in. So that's the only problem.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Very
So,
interesting.
like, is there anything dangerous about being a programmer? Like anything dangerous you might wanna be afraid of? Like any dangers of programming?
The dangers is, I think, yourself,
What?
because you know a lot. You know how to open back doors. You know how to go into servers and stuff. So only you can stop yourself from doing harm to other people.
Like, have you ever would you rather work why would you want to choose the office over the home? I know you want to like lie down in bed, but like, what is your ideal working situation?
Conditions. Situations like.
Well, when you're in the office, you have all the office equipment. You have your whiteboard, you have your projector, you have your meeting room and stuff. So to work in an office, it's kind of like studying in a classroom or reading in a library. So you don't actually read beside the river. You can do so, but it's not a conducive environment for reading.
My dad's asking again, can I have millions lines of code on GitHub and still use it in my resume? Okay.
You could. I mean, I have a lot of projects on GitHub.
What where do you what software do you use to make your code? Like what, like do you use Visual Studio or what?
Well, currently I'm using Sublime, but I'm slowly moving to Visual Studio Code. It has better support because I'm doing web and I'm doing Unity at the same time. So I need to have a tool that can cater for everything. And also I'm slowly moving away from Xcode to develop iPhone apps to Visual Studio Code.
Do you have the ability of programming a 3D printer, or can you use what's
What's in your question?
can you program a 3D printer if you wanted to?
Well, if I have one, like behind you, yeah, I would really love to.
What? So the programming languages you know, is there any other ones you might want to pick up here and there?
I would like to learn the old programming languages, such as Pascal, COBOL. I think it's just a hobby of mine. It's fun, I think.
So like, what is your like when you take breaks here and there, you just finish your entire workload like in like one straight sitting, or do you take breaks every once in a while? And what
Well,
do
I
you
do
do?
need to take breaks because it's quite taxing on your brain. So after like an hour or so, I have to stop and give my head a rest, recharge my own battery, and continue work.
How many hours a day do you normally sleep? Like 6 to or 8 hours?
Well, you have to maintain 6 to 8 hours to maintain a good health.
Yeah, but sometimes do you get like woken up in the middle of the night to do an assignment or what?
There comes a time when you suddenly woke up in the dead of the night and you have an idea. So you just rush to your laptop and type it really quick
In your pajamas.
and then go back to sleep. Yeah.
Do you have like a notebook of like random ideas that sprout out of your brain?
Oh yes, I definitely have.
Is being a programmer stressful on your brain or no?
At the beginning, you have a lot going on inside your head, but after you started journaling, after you started to write down your ideas, then it becomes clearer and it becomes easier to work with. So my notebook of choice is Evernote.
What like how much like is there like a specific amount of like specs do you need to learn programming, like to hold all the files of your programs, like computer specs? Like do you need a specific amount of memory or specific amount of RAM, or do you need enough space in your computer to hold all the information?
Okay, for the current use as of 2021, you need like at least 16 gigabytes of RAM and maybe like 500 gigabytes of disk space. So that would allow you to do a lot of work and still maintain a good computer speed for you to work comfortably.
Is it possible to program on a phone as well as a computer? Like can you like oh I'm busy, oh my phone's out of battery, can I transfer it to my phone? Sorry, I don't know what to do.
Not advisable. I tried. It's not fun. I had to, but it's really tough. So to program, you really need a laptop, a computer.
Like how fast do you type your code? Do you have to think about which one you gotta do first, or is it like order specific or no?
Give me my phone.
Okay, I have a software that I use to store snippets of my code. So if I have ideas, for example, I need to have a screen that has an input box, a drop-down list, and a button. So instead of typing it, I would go back to that software and copy the code snippet and put it inside the code. So it's like a jigsaw puzzle, like a maze.
What puzzles do you like? Like what kind, like do you like Sudoku? Do you like mazes, or what is your favorite type of puzzle to solve?
I used to love Sudoku, but now I'm more towards jigsaws.
Like do you buy jigsaw packs on the at the store, or do you like go to like a website to do jigsaw puzzles, or an app?
Well, I actually go to the store and buy it, but the only thing that I dislike about jigsaws is that if it has 1,000 pieces and one is missing.
So wait, what is your how long what is your perfect amount of jigsaw puzzle pieces? How many pieces do you prefer? Like the limit?
500 is good enough for me.
Any higher than that, it's like excessive, right?
Yes, it's like time consuming.
So you just use jigsaw puzzles. Do you play with them with your daughter or no?
I used to play them with my children. I have a daughter and 2 sons, so I used to play with them. But then, since they have grown up, it's more Lego for them.
So what kind if you is learning programming on drag and drop like Scratch, is that a
Okay.
good way to learn, or should you just learn straight at the how to type it in, which is better?
Well, Scratch is a good way to start because after you drag and drop your codes, you can actually look at the codes and somehow memorize how the code looks like. So when you start to actually learn to code, you really know what conditions do you use, what loop do you use, what variables, what constants. So yes, drag and drop is a good way to start.
But for the for people who use a drag and drop, some people just drag and drop it and then not even worry about it.
Yep.
What has been my dad's asking, has there been a low or down period in your career? How did you get out of it and stay positive?
Okay, the lows would be back in 2018 when we have a change in government. So before the new government came into power, I used to do a lot of training jobs for the government sector. But after the shift in administration, so I lost a lot of jobs, and PKP is not helping either. So I learned to adapt to the new environment. So moving on from physical classes, I started to teach digital classes. And then when digital marketing came about, so I started to adapt from just pure technical classes to classes that actually has hands-on activities. So being a programmer, you don't spend a lot on your business capital because you have a lot of free digital tools to play with, and you can start and move about with very minimal capital.
Would you rather work for Google or work for Apple? Which programming, which would you rather work for?
I would rather go for Google.
So you would help them with what would you change about Google if you could choose?
Well, what would I do if I can choose? I would make sure a lot of the services provided by Google stay free. For example, we have Gmail and Google Maps, but when you're using Google Maps after a while, you started to pay for their services. So if I was the staff at Google, I would make sure that every service that they roll out would be free forever.
But you could you could pay them for a better user experience or something, right?
Something like that.
So it's not like you have to pay in order for it to work. It can't work if you don't have to pay.
Yep.
What is what app is good for learning to program? Other than Scratch.
Okay.
Other drag and drop, other programming apps that we should know about.
There's another drag and drop from MIT, the same people who developed Scratch. I think it's called App Inventor or something. And also there's a game development tool called Game Salad. So it's also a drag and drop tool. I've been teaching Game Salad since 2013 until 2017.
Would you switch to a game developer if you had a chance?
I would, but that would require a lot of talent. You can't develop a game on your own, so you need a team.
But the video game Among Us
Mhm.
started out with like only 3 developers, and then they had a
Yeah, that's technically a team.
Yep.
yeah, but still, it could be possibly one person, but it's really intensive.
Yep.
Have you ever made like what app would you say is the best app you've ever made?
The best app I have made, um, that would be for HUKM. It's an app that works with sensors and Arduino boards. So the app is used throughout the hospital, taking readings from chillers, from cold rooms, from servers, and the data is used to help doctors do their research. So I think that's the best project I ever did.
So you like have you ever done anything like to help you, like would you program robots if you could?
Oh yes, definitely.
Like which one would you prefer? Would you like to do your own job, or would you want to be an Arduino programmer to would you like to be an Arduino programmer to like make like a fully automated like carrot farm, or like basically grow vegetables by using programming? Would you like to do that?
Yes, I had something similar on my mind. Um, there's also a simpler robot solution. Recently, I went to Mama in, I think, arah Damansara. I think it's Kayu Nasi Kanda. So you make an order, and after the food is prepared, a robot would take your food from the kitchen to your table. So
Damansara.
yep, Kayu Nasi Kanda. I think that's the most fun experience of eating with robots.
I've seen them in Japan, but I've never seen them in Malaysia before.
You should go there.
Like, have you ever been overseas to do a work project?
I haven't had the chance yet, and also the project that I did previously for Iraq was too risky because it involves a war-torn area. So there's a high risk that it's going to be
Dangerous.
a battle at any time. So I was doing my work here from my office and send everything through the internet.
Have you ever been like cyber attacked before? Like your whole work destroyed?
Yeah, I had, I think a few years back. It's called ransomware.
Oh yes, I know about ransomware.
Yep.
Yes, like it's like sorry, if so basically you get like sent like it's basically you have to pay money, like it's a virus, but you have to pay money to be removed.
Yep.
Is it like, is the money you get like, will it remove it or will it just stay there, or is it just nothing?
Well, I'm not sure because the part that was attacked was my Dropbox. So I made a report to Dropbox and asked them if they have backups of my files. So they gave me a backup and I never actually paid for the ransom.
So, do you use like direct computers, or do you use the cloud for your main programming, like to send files?
I have certain files over the cloud, but most of the time I use my own laptop.
But like, if you like to bring like what is like the most remote place you've programmed in, like brought your computer there? Most remote
The
place.
most remote? There's a few Felda that I've been to in Johor and Negeri Sembilan. So there's no coverage, there's no internet, there's no signal whatsoever in that school. So I guess it's one of those Felda in Negeri Sembilan.
What would be your ideal holiday? Like away from your work or something, like your ideal holiday? another country, or just like an island? What would you pick?
I would choose the beach.
Exactly.
Like any like beach in other country, or just Malaysian beaches is your favorite?
Just Malaysian.
Do you like traveling a lot?
Yes, definitely.
So, like, if you're in the office, do you have
Mhm.
other people to help you with your work, or is it just you in the office?
Okay, a few years ago, I have a few staff in my office, and then as time changes, we started to adapt to the new environment where everybody has their own company. And for me, example, I'm a trainer, and you have your own marketing company. So our two companies would collaborate. You would do the marketing for me, and I would do the development for you.
What application do you use for your training? Is it on like what's it called? What's that called again?
Zoom.
No, the other one, the other thing. Wait, you can like pay people to help you with work training.
Monday.com.
No, it's not money.com. No, what software do you use to train like people but pay for you to train them? What software do you use?
Well, it's not exactly a software, but I use a framework, sort of like a plugin for WordPress. So I put it on my own website. So people can actually come to my office for training, or they can opt for online training from my website.
Which one would you prefer? Would you prefer teaching them at the office directly, or online?
Well, that would depend. If it's a basic class, then online would be suffice. But if they're going for advanced courses, then I have to be around them.
Like, what company would you work for? Like Microsoft, Apple, Chrome. Sorry, not Chrome. Google. What company would you work for?
Well, Google for me.
And you were trained, and so like, what is like the easiest part of being the programmer? Can you like, are there days where you can just relax and just chill without doing any work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can actually do so, because after a few years of doing programming, I already identified certain snippets of code to do for a certain task. So I have them inside databases. So I can actually like do programming on the fly, even though programming on the phone is not advised, but I can do it anyway. But I'm not actually typing it. I'm simply mixing and matching codes using my phone.
Is it possible to use like JavaScript and Python in the same programming, or no? Like two programs in one?
No, it's too
Complicated.
different environment.
What would be your like other than the office and your house, like would you work in another place, like outside a different country? What country would you work in?
Country, I would choose Japan. I love Japan.
This person also likes Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we've been there before. It's a really technological place. The toilets are why do you need to spend so much money just to go to the toilet? It's like showing off how much money they have and how rich, how technologically advanced they are. I have not seen Germany, but they're also very technologically advanced as well.
There's a machine in Germany that can peel pineapples for you.
What? I never knew that. I never knew that. You tell me.
But they cut off a lot of stuff, so it's not good.
Like,
Okay.
like, so like you would work in Japan if you could choose.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Interesting, very interesting.
What programming language is like your apps, like the most used one that you use?
For mobile, previously it was Kotlin, and currently it's now Flutter. So it's gaining popularity. For web, it was PHP, and now people are using Laravel. It's a PHP framework, so knowing PHP really helps.
So, what is the most complex programming language in your opinion? Like the hardest to learn?
The hardest. Well, I've done a project using Java for Enterprise, J2EE, so I guess that's the toughest I have to do.
I don't know. I just don't have any questions. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Normally, my brother would ask the questions. I'm not the question asker.
Okay, so
Yay.
thank you for
Give us some last words before you go.
give us some last words.
Some last words. Well, I have two words. I actually stumbled upon these two words when I was 7. So I have an uncle who loves to read comic books, and he would usually read them in the toilet. So when I went to his house, I saw this comic in his toilet. So there's two words that actually struck and stayed with me up until today. So those two words are adapt, survive. So if you can adapt, you can survive.
Okay. Thank you all for watching. Tune in tomorrow at the same time, same channel for a talk with Hafiz Talib, handles mobile advertising.
Wow.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Okay. Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
Hey,
How do I end this? Hey, I can't end the thing.
You hang
let's
up.
get this one here then.